There was a young man once who really struggled with tying and untying his shoelaces. Whenever he was with his friends, and they'd take off their shoes to go play in a creek, the young man would get nervous. He didn't want his friends to see that he couldn't untie his shoes. So, he came up with a solution. Instead of untying his shoelaces, he would carry around a pair of scissors in his pocket. He would cut the laces so that he could take off his shoes and play. Sure, he fixed his problem, but after just a few more snips over the next few days, the young man found that he didn't have any laces left to cut. Don't cut what can be disentangled. There's been a slew of celebrity deconversion stories in the last few years, from Joshua Harris, the author of I Kiss Dating Goodbye, to the YouTube comedy duo Rhett and Link, to even church leaders like former Hillsong worship pastor Marty Sampson. It feels like more and more people these days are just finding it easier to cut off their Christian theology instead of disentangling it. But let's be clear, there's a lot of disentangling that needs to happen for Christianity in America. A recent poll found that 46% of American evangelicals, not just self-identifying evangelicals, but weekly, church-going, inerrant Bible-believing Christians, believe that God accepts all religions. 39% of 18 to 29-year-old Christians think that Buddha, Muhammad, and Jesus all offer equal access to salvation. Pluralism is on the rise, and if all paths lead to God, the obvious next step is to wonder why we even need to bother going to church or read the Bible. Why not just spend that time doing something fun and seemingly less judgmental? Even with all the wonders of the information age, it seems like our culture is becoming more and more biblically illiterate. A 2020 poll found that 66% of American evangelicals think that Jesus is a created being. We've fallen so far from core Christian doctrine that those of us who have grown up in the church somehow don't even get the very basics of Christian theology. Veracity Hill's mission is to simplify complex issues to build strong Christians and reach a skeptical world. We don't cut corners. We aren't afraid of the hard questions. Through 200 episodes of the Veracity Hill podcast, I've interviewed some of the greatest Christian thinkers living today. Through the annual Defenders Conference, we have brought conflicting views on the same stage to equip people with reasonable answers to some of the biggest objections to Christian belief. We seek to train Christians to have a strong grasp on biblical and theological literacy so that they may have a flourishing faith and not be left ineffective and unproductive in their knowledge of our Lord Jesus Christ. As a teenager, Aiden from New York City found our podcast and was equipped to handle life's questions. He wrote, "I have learned so much from this ministry, and the Veracity Hill podcast is one of my all-time favorite programs. Kurt Jarris is extremely relatable, honest, and concise." Thanks, Aiden. He continued, "Veracity Hill is a great program aimed at exposing the truth of Christianity and helping Christians live in a secular society." At Veracity Hill, we tackle relevant questions that both believers and skeptics are asking, from the historical reliability of the Gospels to the pressure points of science and faith. Moving forward, I'm scaling up Veracity Hill's ministry to be a full-time, expansive speaking and teaching ministry. I'll be creating videos, writing both at academic and layman levels, and speaking at seminars and churches to reach the next generation for Jesus Christ. This will require more of my time than ever before, and in order to reach more young people like Aiden, I need your help and support. If you want to learn more, check out veracityhill.com, where you can watch all 200 episodes of the podcast and subscribe to the website for new blog posts, videos, and ministry updates. You can also join our monthly support team. At Veracity Hill, the lesson is simple. Don't cut what can be disentangled. I'm Dr. J, and I'll be your guide as we disentangle complex theology for your everyday life.